All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are running behind schedule. I apologize to anybody here who was. I apologize to anybody who was here at 5:30. It's now 6:40. My deepest apologies. Sometimes I get a little airheaded because I got so much going on in the background and stuff like that. So I do apologize. I would never intentionally make anybody wait. It just kind of slipped my mind. So I'd give it a second to catch up here. So it's lagging a little. It'll fix itself in just a minute here. All right, cool. So I'm so sorry about that, guys. I'm here now, though. My apologies. I hope all the free courses I give you guys make up for it. All right. So if you're new to the channel, one thing that I do is for every 1,000 subscribers, I like to do a live stream, a AMA, let's just hit me with what you got sort of thing. So we are officially at 24,000 subscribers. We actually grew in the last 30 days by almost 1,900, which is large for my channel. So hopefully that trend continues. Part of that bump is from me guesting on Engineer Truth's channel when he did the reality versus expectations of a full stack developer. I was the guest talking about it. But yeah, so if you're one of the new 1,000, thank you. If you're one of the previous 23, thank you as well. So I try to one of the reasons I do these is I don't have all the time in the world to help to answer questions, to provide guidance on a one-on-one basis. And trust me, you guys try, right? You guys try. People add me on LinkedIn and Facebook, which is cool, but I can't necessarily answer your guys' questions. That's why I provide mentoring and things like that if someone has a few extra bucks to spare. Otherwise, I'd be doing it all day, every day, and your boy would be homeless, unemployed. So how exactly did you go about doing the algorithms of free code camp? Did you give yourself a time limit before Googling? I had to Google probably one or two, but for the most part, I just put in work, man. And mind you, also, I had done similar algorithms in Java as a computer science student, so I wasn't going in there raw. I wasn't going in there raw, right? So I had a little bit of a background, right? But I would put in anywhere from 2 to 3 days sometimes on some of the harder ones, and I didn't look it up until I probably hit about 10 hours of not being able to figure out. Now, one thing I always suggest is I suggest using a whiteboard, especially for algorithms, because a lot of times the hardest part, assuming that you have the documentation down and all that sort of stuff, the hardest part is actually being able to comprehend. What's the word I'm looking for? Comprehend how your loops are going, what's actually doing what, right? When this loop hits here, what's the value of this variable in this if statement, and then it shoots to here, what is it now, and trying to actually piece it all together. And if you use a whiteboard, you can kind of slow your brain down by process by process and iterate through piece by piece by piece. And I think a lot of times, especially when you're a newer developer, you need to kind of build that mental visual. You don't have the abilities for the mental visualization quite yet, but you may once you get better. But it also just makes it a little bit easier to do that with a whiteboard, especially when you get started. And even professional developers have whiteboards all in their office. I have 5 in my house for various things. sometimes it helps just to have something and then look at it from afar. Bitcode, how are you doing, by the way, sir? I know you've been working hard. Again, I do apologize for being late. I got off work. I took care of. I started working on a video, a very funny and good and important one. Look forward to this Friday's video, guys. Look forward to every Monday, Wednesday, Friday video, but definitely look extra forward to this Friday's video. So this Friday's video it talks about 3 things. It talks about what you should do when someone lays you off or fires you. It talks about how you need to do research about a company so you don't put yourself in a position that you are working at a bad company, because that definitely increases your chances of getting laid off. And then it showcases a real life example of what you shouldn't do when you get laid off or fired. So it's a good video. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. Good evening, David. Good evening. So I've been pretty stressed out lately. Just on a personal note, I've had a lot of stuff going on in the background. Some things I don't necessarily want to talk about. No, it's not another troll video. It's not another troll video. No. No. I know I built up the troll video. This is a real video. This is a real video. I feel like you might be saying I have a reputation now or something for troll videos. I did one troll video out of 600, and all of a sudden you're worried about it. Is April still coding? April right now is working on project management certification, specifically in Lean and Agile. After us doing kind of the 30 days of code, she wants to come back to it and maybe go into a different path. She still wants to learn to code. She did enjoy it, but project management will probably be the best path for her getting started. So even though you took a different route, self-taught, and have become a paid full-stack developer, do you plan on going back to school to get your CS degree? Why or why not? I do. This is something I was talking about today, actually, with somebody. And I am currently in the React Now degree program, which I'm waiting to complete, as well as some potential things in my career. I have a 1-year review at my job in about a little less than 2 months. So in about 2 months. And then I'm imagining at my 1 year, I will get a raise, and that will help me pay for school so I don't have to take any loans out. And why I want to go back, a couple things. I kind of am upset with myself that I never finished. I don't think I need to be honest with you. I think there's definitely a benefit to it. There's a benefit of me going and knocking it out and becoming having a bachelor's, just in terms of being it would be a lie to say that you're not a more attractive employee having a bachelor's, or it's not, right? It's not the end all be all, but it is something. The main reason, other than kind of having a chip on my shoulder and being more hireable, is I could see myself teaching down the road, and maybe at a university where maybe 10, 15, 20 years. I'll be 30 in October, and I'll be 30 in October, and maybe at 50 I might kind of retire and teach part-time or do something like that. And that's something that I've kind of thought about. It's kind of one of the reasons I like YouTube. I like maybe having a talking about these things and teaching these things and doing what I can. So. How much time do you recommend investing in learning to create web applications versus algorithms? This is a hard question, Bitcode, because you need to be able to do the algorithms to be able to build the web applications. Not that you need the algorithms to actually build it, but you need to be able to solve algorithms to be able to build the web applications. I would say if you can, 75% projects, 25% algorithms, if I had to break it down. Have I ever bombed a coding interview? Oh, yes. One what about having kids? April and I are not at that point. Matter of fact, on a personal note, we can't have kids unless we were to remove the IUD, which is good for another 4 years. So at our current plan is to just wait for that thing to break and not be good anymore. And let's say 4 years from now, we'll probably be together about 10 or 11 years. And, you know, it takes about 10 years to tie down this hotness. So that's that's she's gonna hate that I said that. Yeah, that's not something we're thinking about right now. My main goal is on career. It's on YouTube, which I consider part of my career. It's on me becoming a better developer. It's on us saving money and investing for the future. We won't be having kids before I buy property. This is something that I'm a big believer in, and I believe that you should be financially ready to have children and not just have children. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of children. I don't like children. Also, that's another thing. Like, I'm sure I'll like my kids. I don't like children. So that might be a little harsh, but that's a truth. Let's see here. Early welcome to the 30s club, bro. I know, man. I'm feeling old. Although, you know what? With these braces, man, I bet people are thinking I'm like 22, 23. Is a computer science degree really difficult? It's one of the harder degrees. There's a lot of physics. There's a lot of calculus. There's a lot of bullshit courses that you probably don't really need. You're learning web development. Good for you, man. Should I use React or Angular 2? I'm learning React right now. If I had to choose between one or the other, I'd say learn React. But once you feel comfortable with React, dive into Angular 2, man. The thing is, dive into it all. Is it better to jump from one learning platform to another, or is building projects right away more efficient? What my kind of thought process with this VLS is that you go and you learn something you learn the basics, right, through a YouTube video and through like Codecademy and Free Codecamp, and you take what you just got exposed to. I don't really want to say you learned. You take what you got exposed to, and then you go and build a project in it. That's immediately, like that day. And then you'll actually retain some of what you learned. What you got exposed to, rather. Is it me or does Free Codecamp throw us to the wolves? I feel like it's impossible to know the API projects without Googling, YouTubing. G Money Mozart, nice name, by the way. I would say that that's part of how you learn, to be honest. And I don't think they necessarily throw you to the wolves, but part of my things with Codecademy is they hold your hand too much, and you never actually learn. And one of the crucial skills about being a developer is you have to be able to research your issues, because 99% of your issues have already been reported, and you have to find those issues. So that's my thing. Is it's going quite well. Or one of the things. Come here, buddy. Here's my boy. He doesn't like the diffuser. So let's see here. Is it better to build free Codecamp projects on a code editor rather than CodePen? It is indeed. See, how do you stay motivated? What drives you? I mean, as someone who is recently unmotivated for one day, recently, I would say I was unmotivated, I was burnt out. But this Saturday, for the first time, other than being on like the few 3-day vacations I've taken, I didn't code I'll admit it, I did not code on Saturday. Part of it was I was kind of emotionally drained and mentally drained, and I had my family down and just some personal things. So, but I don't find the need to stay motivated, because that means like something tangible out there is giving me motivation. I don't really see it like that. For me, it's easy to stay motivated when you enjoy doing it, right? So like for me, it's not like YouTube is a chore for me. I enjoy YouTube, so I do it. I enjoy talking about this stuff, so I have a Facebook group. I enjoy coding, so I code, right? And thank you. Shout out to Ricky Garcia, who also has a YouTube channel. Says, brothers and sisters, our code God is an angry God. Join me in sending an offering unto him in the hopes to avoid his wrath. Yes. But what drives me is a different thing altogether. I'm driven by money, very, very much so. I'm also driven by having a nice life. I'm of the mindset that I'm going to put in a lot of work in the next 10 years, and I'm going to reap the benefits of it in the meantime. It's one of the reasons that it's so easy for me to live a lower lifestyle than it's one of the reasons that I live below my means. That's what I'm trying to say. So I try to become, like, I try to do all the things that you should do. And a lot of these things we all know we should do, right? We know we should study. We know we should have good credit. We know we should be exercising. We know we should be trying to progress ourselves and learn daily. And if you just do those things you already should know, and understanding that you're going to progress and you're going to reap the benefits of it, it makes it very easy, right? So for in terms of finances, that means you have to invest. That means you have to put money into a 401k or a Roth IRA, or just peer-to-peer lending, or Robinhood or Acorns or whatever it is. But you have to start investing, and you're basically putting off. And the same thing goes with what drives you is you're investing in yourself, right? That's really what it is. When you say motivated, why are you staying motivated? So that you can progress your life. And when you first, it's much easier once you've tasted a little bit of success, right? So, like, there were days when I was studying every day to become a developer that I thought about giving up, right? I thought about maybe taking a week off and going back to it. I never did, but those thoughts did come into my mind. But now it's like I've been able to reap the benefits of that, and not once do I think about that. I don't know, Roxy. So for me, I don't want to say it's just money, because that sounds very, very shallow. But I do respect what money can provide you. Money can provide you with a home for your future children and food, right? If you show up to my house, that fridge, it doesn't matter when you show up to my house, that fridge is full, the freezer is full, the mini fridge is full, because I didn't, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when it was April and I sleeping in the living room, and we gave up our bedroom for her sister, we didn't have a full fridge of food. We didn't have that stuff. And so and I'm not saying we had it super hard or we had it worse than others. That's just the situation you're in. So those are the things which is probably why I'm gaining weight, man. Your boy has put on like 10 pounds, easy. And I need to start working the abs and doing the squats, man. If it's not personal, what does someone in your profession earn? It depends on what your job title is, what you do, how skilled you are, what your resume looks like. It really depends on the individual. How's my course going? That was something that was stressing me out, and I couldn't, for some reason, I felt very uncomfortable charging money for a course. And I decided to put that on hold and instead focus on my career in terms of learning React, which I'm doing the now degree program, going back to school. And at some point I will put out a course. I'll probably do an easier course, a less technical course. For a while, I've been thinking about making a course about how to create a YouTube channel in terms of specifically a coding channel, and talking about all the tools available, pitfalls that I fell into, and how to avoid certain things, and the different types of coding channels. And so that will probably be my first course, because in terms of there's a lot I can talk about and show, but in terms of a time commitment, it's about 1/10 of what I would expect a coding course to be. Um, all these YouTubers with 1 million subscribers say money isn't a motive at all are complete bullshit. Yeah, man. I mean, I just try and keep it real, right? It's easy to say that money doesn't motivate you when you're bringing in $100,000 a month, right? Like it's easy to make that argument because you already got enough money, right? What is $110,000 a month when you're making $100,000, right? But when you're making fucking, you know, less than that a year and put it in work, and the life of a YouTuber, man, is not too shabby when you get out there. So, and when you do have those days where you're unmotivated, right, and you only do 20 minutes of coding, that's the reason that you have the Discord channel. That's the reason you have YouTube subscribers or YouTube channels that you follow, right? Some days I'll just watch a video on coding, right? It depends on what you're trying to do, but there are other ways that you can become a better developer. It doesn't actually have you use a keyboard. You can learn a lot just by watching a tutorial. I've got basic JavaScript down now. I'm trying to learn Node.js. What do you think would be best to use? Any course recommendations? I haven't taken a course on Node.js. I have just watched some YouTube tutorials on it. Traversing Media has like 5 different tutorials on meme development and specifically Node and Express. I would definitely check that out. Any advice for someone who's looking for a community of people at similar skill level to help and sort of speed up your progress as become a website? Meetups. Go to meetup.com and look up coding and programming meetups in your area. That's probably the best thing you can do. Say the latest video, man, how I became a developer really hit home. I'm glad, man. I just try to tell my story. Even when I talk about advice, I don't give advice that I've never taken. So I really just feel like I'm telling you guys what I have done, and it's more of a story because I really hate when people give advice of shit that they have no business talking about, right? Thank you, Adrian. I appreciate it, man. Do I have any recommendations on Udemy courses? If you're learning React, I could recommend Stephen Grider, although I have never taken a Udemy course. The first course I will ever actually complete will be this Udacity Nano degree program. Same here. I'm doing an MBA program because I'm thinking about my future. How are you planning or learning the business side of coding? Example, you decide to create a course. Would it be a business? So one of the great things about being a coding YouTuber is you can learn from the other coding YouTubers. Is I don't necessarily have to sell anything now, but if I ever get around to actually building a course or building a product to sell, I have taken the time and the energy to create an audience, right? At the end of the day, we have, as of today, 24,000 people that will get a video in their Facebook feed that hopefully have built up some sort of reputation that you can feel like you would get a quality course along the way or quality product or something where you say, you know what, man, these are people interested in coding. I have a coding software product and I can pitch it to them and they may be open to it. So in terms of that, we've already handled the hardest part, which is having somebody to buy the course. That's the hard part, right? Getting the word out and being able to make the relationships with other people who have audiences and guesting on their channels and stuff like that. So I'm not necessarily worried about the business side of it. As someone I feel like I'm probably a little bit more business savvy than the average person, but that's just because I guess I'm money hungry. This type of stuff that interests me. My story of why I became a developer is pretty damn boring compared to Dylan. Would it be easier to land a job with a startup company or a normal company? Probably a startup company. I'm guessing a normal company you're kind of referring to like a Fortune 500 company or a large multinational company. Startup companies are going to be more accepting to a recent computer science grad or a self-taught developer, in my experience. You're working on your own channel on YouTube networking. Good for you, Jordan. How's the Nano degree coming along? Pretty good. I was working on it a little bit yesterday. I'm doing this tonight. The a live stream, and I recorded a video. Look forward to Friday's video. It's going to be super good. Um, but I like what I have so far. I would imagine that by the end of this week, I'll finish the project. That would be my guess. Today, I'm doing this. And then tomorrow when I get home from work, I'll be working on the nano degree. And I might put in about 30 minutes of it offline to get going. Thoughts on Ember.js? I don't know too much about Ember.js. I've talked with Eric, program with Eric quite a bit, and that's kind of his main go-to framework. He's a big fan of it. He's even written a book on it. My thing is that you should really only be learning things that are in demand unless you're already a senior developer. So that would probably be, if you're looking for a JavaScript framework, it'd be React or Angular 4. Last question. Do you think about IQ versus determination when it comes to programming? I do not. I mean, I think you probably have to be inherently probably pretty intelligent to get good at I don't even think intelligence is the right word. I think you have to be a little bit more logical than most people. So speaking of good logical people, we got our boy Nicholas Spinoza. For those of you who don't know, Nick and I are going to be starting a podcast together in the very near future. Just waiting to wrap up a few things on my end, and then we're going to get started. So look for that in the coming future for your rides in the car and things like that. Am I going to get my CS degree online? Yes. So Rasmussen University has an online CS program specifically for people who are going back to complete their degree. It's going to take me about 18 months. It's low cost. Low cost meaning it's going to cost me about $14,000. And one of the cool things about it is you, through your coursework, you actually can earn certification. So I want to get better with AWS. That's one certification you can get, the associates. I want to get better with Linux. There's a Linux certification. So you take a course that's designed to fulfill those certifications, and then you go and you take it. Rasmussen University. It's a they also have if you don't like the online setting, they have campuses that you can go to. Let's see here. What's the podcast going to be called? This is something we've been discussing. Code Tech and Caffeine was one idea. Coding Gods, not that we're the coding gods, but the people we're interviewing will be the coding gods. Self-taught, self-made is one I like, but that may not be too, like, I wanted to really push the whole coding idea. What about Meteor? Yes, same thing. Jubal, is that unless you're a senior developer, you should really be focusing on the most in-demand stuff, and that's React and Angular. Everything else falls to the wayside when it talks about JavaScript frameworks. I'm learning React, Davindir, so I guess I'd have to recommend React. Although I don't think either one are bad choices as long as you're learning Angular 4 if it's your entry-level language, right? Hey, Stink. Interviewing the coding gods, that's too long of a name. Yeah, one day I'll go and I'll actually edit that that blog I read today, that I released today, and throw it out on the Free Code Camp channel and get some publicity. Yeah, so if you're going to learn a framework in the hopes of landing a job, make sure you have an okay understanding of JavaScript, and specifically start focusing on TypeScript, start focusing on ES6 standards, and also projects, man. That's what's going to get you hired. Just don't say you know Angular or React. Build a project that isn't like a weather application. Build something that's unique and custom. The hardest thing for you guys Did you have a GitHub account when you went for your first interview? I don't remember. I had to be honest with you. I didn't have much on it if I did. Hey, I'm in a coding boot camp now, and I feel kind of crazy behind. How did you learn JavaScript? Well, I just did free code camp every day, and I watched videos. What do you think? Is it a good idea to make advanced projects with Angular or React? Yeah, I mean that's kind of the point is of the JavaScript frameworks to make big projects. So our podcast is going to be on Google Hangouts live streams, or is it more professional than that? We're going to have a separate YouTube channel. Will be on there, and the podcasts are going to be released on iTunes and things like that. What's more valuable for you, for me, I guess, GitHub or your YouTube channel? My YouTube channel by far. My YouTube channel is a great thing because it shows passion, and I think that's a big thing that a lot of people, and I could say from the interviews I've had with developers who are willing to say, okay, this is a guy I want to work with. And it's okay acknowledging that. It doesn't mean I don't have the passion, right? Because I do, but I can say that is one thing that I think that I'm certain of has done a lot for me. In my previous job, I was able to get that job at that software company because I had a passion for software, and I was going to be doing video editing and creating technical documentation, even though I had never done it before. So in this job, it played a role as well. Where to get inspirations for projects? I mean, the easiest thing to do is just think of something that you think you can make money with. And if you're making money, the second you make your first few bucks, it makes it a lot easier for you to be motivated. But also find something that's unique to you, right? It just happens that for me, it's YouTube, right? So if I'm going to, after I finish this first React course, build either an Angular 4 or React, I'm going to build some YouTuber tools. I have a couple ideas that I'm going to build, and I'm going to put it online. And that will be one example project that's going to be unique from what I have in my portfolio. And I'll probably go and I'll build other tools as well and things like that. So what are your thoughts on functional programming versus object-oriented programming? Well, I've had a bad introduction to functional programming, but a lot of people seem to think that it's going to be the future of development. And to be honest, I couldn't really tell you one way or the other because I took one course in college. It was poorly taught. I've talked about this before, but my teacher showed up, and they said, "Hey, I got hired today. I've never even heard of Scala, which was the functional programming language we're learning, and we're going to learn it together." So I didn't have the best introduction to it. So I don't think I could accurately say. How can one build his/her portfolio as an junior front-end developer? First thing you guys should always do is you should get yourself a portfolio site. And what I mean by that is go buy Felix.com or whatever it is and put it together, right? And build a custom site. Don't get a WordPress site. Build a About Me page. Build a portfolio page. And so your code pins, you shouldn't have a code pin on there. I understand not everyone can, you gotta pony up about $6 a month. You might be able to find a free site somewhere. Go and buy yourself a Y134, and instead of having a code pin, put it on GitHub. You should have it on GitHub. You should have it in both places, your code pin and your GitHub. But you should also have a portfolio page where you've uploaded it and put it on there. Why would a company hire an intern with foundational skill in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? I found one and thought of applying since I'm still learning. Why? Well, perhaps they want to mentor you into the role. Perhaps they want to save money. Perhaps a lot of times companies will hire interns for 3 months in hopes of hiring them at the end of their internship. That's a lot of times what happens. And it's kind of a nice way not to have to hire and fire people, to be honest. Where do I live right now in the U.S.? I live in Florida. Tampa, Florida. Don't do anything weird with that information. Would you advise against using GitHub pages to host a portfolio website? I think there's something to be gained by having a portfolio page, Brandon. I mean, when a resume comes with a website section and you don't have a website to put on it, I think there's an issue. Are you thinking about going back to get your bachelor's degree in CS? Yes. Talked about this earlier. Am I already through the calculus, linear algebra, and discrete mathematics? Yes, I finished that before I dropped out. I might have one calculus course left. I don't remember. I don't remember specifically. I'd have to look at it. I took 3 or 4 calculus courses. But I am originally a Los Angeles, California native, specifically Pasadena. But yes, I am. I'm going to Rasmussen University. I've been talking with them. What's the difference between a website portfolio and a hard copy resume? Well, one, they can actually go and click through your website. That's your portfolio project. That's significantly better than you saying weather app, right? Another is you can change it, and you can on there you have more than so on your resume you can have. One second. I don't have a pen. On your resume, you can only have so much space. It's kind of why you have a resume and a LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn is a public thing where you can have more than everything, more than what you can fit on one page, right? Why did I move? I got offered a good job, and it was out of California. And so no state tax, no traffic. So I will tell Chris Hawks. Chris Hawks isn't going to do anything strange. I'm in Tampa, Chris. Tampa, Florida. The home. So I'll tell you this, man, is if you thought that you saw crazy stuff, Florida is, I don't know. I didn't know people in Florida didn't know this, but they didn't know that they were kind of, in America, there's kind of a joke that when weird shit happens, it's always in Florida. No one's surprised. And it has just been proven more and more. I didn't know John was from Tampa. Is there a reason you develop using Windows rather than Mac OS? Yes. I've been using Windows for 20 years. That's about it. If I had to use Mac at a job, I would, but I'm not too worried about it. Which state is better to live in, Cali or Florida, and why? So California is much better. There's less traffic, less homeless people. Not that there's anything wrong with homeless people, but there's less. Like, I wish we could take care of LA. Is you can't go. You can turn a street on LA and there's just blocks of people. I'm not kidding you. They'll have tents and they'll have like stoves, like as if they're camping stoves. They'll be cooking it up, and it's just hard to feel safe at times when you have people like that and and you're paying high amounts of rent. So the rent's lower. The traffic is significantly less. I'm able to get my 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment for $1,150 a month. It's about 1,400 square feet. It's in a beautiful condo complex, something equivalent. And by the way, it's an 8-minute drive to my work. If I wanted to get something equivalent in Los Angeles, we're looking at 2 to 3 times that amount, easy. And like when I came down here and I was looking at apartments, I had to ask stupid questions like, does it come with a fridge? Does it come with AC, central air? And they're looking at me like, yo, man, did this guy just get out of prison? Why is he asking all these stupid questions? Because in California, your thing gets gutted, man. There's no central AC. There's no fridge unless you're in a luxury apartment a lot of times, right? Yeah, I'm not joking, man. I'm being real serious. But also, there's a higher tax, right? So just by me, say I was making the same, forget cost of living, but say I was making the same amount of money in California as I'm making in Florida, I save every month about $300 in my check. So that in itself is maybe $350. I forget what it is. Do I find not having your degree as a limiting factor to wage increases, promotions, or seemingly like a glass ceiling to transfer to a different job? No. I'll go into it's. I mean, there is something where it can be said that, hey, obviously, and this is the thing, I always feel like people think I'm bashing CS degrees. I'm not. I've already explained to you that I'm going back, and I've talked about why. But it does help, but it's not the only thing, right? I've had numerous interviews, and it's now that numerous interviews with recruiters, and not once do they bring up that I don't have a CS degree. They just talk. They're worried about what I've done, what I've built. Yeah, like Chris can go hit up John. John, where'd you used to live? I need to know. John's gonna be like, yo, man, I don't know about all this. But do you think that completing the full stack program free code camp is enough to get your foot in the door as a developer? I got my full stack job before I even completed the free code camp front end cert. A lot of that's hard work, right? It's taking what you learn, applying it, building stuff with it, showcasing your skills, showing that you're eager, doing all the basic stuff. Have a good looking resume, have a portfolio site, have a GitHub, have unique projects, right? Show that you care. Have a good LinkedIn, doing all the basic stuff. People will give you a chance, even if their internships get going. But you go from there, right? I mean, I talked to you guys today about the video I released today was all about how I was 2.5 years ago. I was delivering pizzas, got a $12 an hour job, 2 hours away. Did that. Tried to do the freelance thing for a bit. Did it. Still in school. Dropped out. Went and took a job, grinding it out in Los Angeles, and then from there. Now I'm here and things are going great. Everything's going in the right direction. Everyone's path is different, man. So it just depends. But is it okay to say that not having a degree will limit you in certain ways? Yeah. Certain employers will not hire you, or certain employers will make it harder for you to be hired, I should say. Because a lot of times when you look at the job applications, it will say right on it, degree or equivalent experience. What that means is equivalent experience means they're willing to say, it's nice if you have a degree, but if you're good, we're happy to have you. And that's kind of the state of software development. What's the smoke thing? It's my essential oil diffuser. I only know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, and jQuery. Are those good enough for junior dev jobs out there? It depends on the job, but you probably need to pick up. You most likely need to pick up Angular 4 or React. That would be the best thing I could advise you. If you're trying to be a front-end developer, pick up Angular 4 React. Make sure that you have version control. If you want to stand out, start doing some tests. You can learn testing, unit tests relatively quickly, and it'll make you stand out in a short amount of time. I don't know what the NHS is. So I don't know. Oh, somehow we got to start talking about healthcare in here. I'm okay with that. Free healthcare. Ooh. But yeah, guys, and the point of today's video when I talked about my path, and you know, I could talk about the path before that and the choices I made that weren't coding related, and how I changed my career. I changed my I went and got my EMT certification, and I studied accounting, and I studied journalism and all this sort of stuff. So it's one of those things where not everything, you know, not everyone has a straight and narrow path, man. Not everyone will do that. But Chris is right when you say they'll straight up not hire you without a STEM degree. Government contractors are known for that. There are companies that will do that. I don't think they're the hard part without the STEM degree will be to get your foot in the door and get that relevant experience, which is why you need to get creative, right? Are you a RuneScape kind of guy or Call of Duty? It's so funny you asked that. I'd mentioned that for the first day in about a year, I didn't code on Saturday just from kind of being burnt out and stressed out about personal things. And I couldn't sit down and I couldn't work on React. I went and bought the new Call of Duty, the new one, meaning the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Let me tell you, that game is garbage. I played it for like an hour. I'll play the campaign, but I think I'm just going to buy the new one. I don't really play games, guys. I really just code all the time. Yeah. But I mean, to say that that I've been turned down, I've been. I'll tell you the first time the first time I remember ever getting turned down directly was so Way Up. If you're not familiar with Way Up, they do internships for college students and stuff like that. So Way Up has that's basically the thing. They help you go and get internships and entry level jobs. And it's like a job market for the Way Up. So they were interviewing me for a YouTube like personality for them, where essentially I'd be doing this, except I'd be talking about Way Up, talking about the growing trends in college, the growing trends and getting internships and jobs, and it was going really well, and I felt like I was good. And this was about 3 months before I took this current job. It's going really well, and I had the phone call. We were talking on the phone, and she asked me what my degree was in, and then I said, "Well, I haven't finished my degree yet. I plan on going back in the future, this and that." And she said, "Oh, sorry, we're only considering candidates with degrees. Thank you for your time." And literally, it ended that quick. I'm not bullshitting you guys. It ended that quick. Yes. So there are, to say that it doesn't exist isn't the case. Code all the time. Aren't you worried that you'll burn out? You burn out and then you burn back in. You know what I'm saying? But what if I have a bullshit degree in world religions? Is it better than no degree? Yes. A lot of times they just want to have that check mark. This guy has a bachelor's. Bam, let's go, baby. And he can code. Cool, good enough. Would I be willing to look at your resume and give you some constructive feedback? Why don't you throw it up on the Facebook group and get everybody, and I'll give you feedback on that. Why don't you do that? Because I mean, the Facebook group's there so that you don't only get my opinion, you get other people's opinion, but I will comment on it as well. I mean, yeah, you burn back, you burn out, and then you burn back in. It's how it works, right? And I do. So I've been on in my lifetime. I've been in the, hey, I'm not doing anything, so there's no chance that I'm going to burn out. I'm just playing Modern Warfare 2, like it's going to pay me a full-time salary with a pension and benefits. And then I have the other end of the spectrum I'm at now, which I'm working every day. And like right now, it may say, oh, well, do you consider this work? Yes, I consider this work to a degree, right? I enjoy my work, and there's nothing wrong with that. And so I recorded a video earlier. I talked with a recruiter. I'm working on some YouTube stuff, and I'm going to be working on the React Now degree probably for about 30 minutes before this. And at some point, I have to go say hello to my wonderful girlfriend who's here. So it's okay. I being on both ends of the spectrums, I'm okay being on this end. And April will tell me, like, look, I can see it in your face. You're about to flip the fuck out. Like, you're about to go to that level. Why don't you take a day off? Why don't you go and play video games, even if it's just for half the day, even if it's for 20 minutes? I'd rather have my girlfriend be telling me I need to sit down and play video games than her be telling me, you know what, I got to get my shit together. So do I know Firebase? Would you consider covering on your channel at this point? I've been introduced to it. We had a remote developer for a short period of time who wanted us to use Firebase. And The reason we did not was my understanding was I had to connect to a server. So do I watch Game of Thrones? Yeah, man. So that's one of the few things I watch. So in terms of television, other than YouTube, I watch Game of Thrones every Sunday night. First time in my life I've ever been able to pay for HBO Go. So shout out to HBO. I've made it 6 seasons without having to pay you, and I'm sorry about that, but I got some monies now. You're getting your $14.99 because I feel guilty. I do watch Game of Thrones, and I watch 2 anime shows right now. I'm watching Dragon Ball Super. I'm also watching My Hero Academia. Besides that, I watch some news on YouTube, and I watch coding tutorials. That's about it. And I watch a couple of cool investment channels. Do you wear a shirt and tie at your work? No, I wear kind of business slacks and Nikes and like a collared shirt, like a collared shirt, I guess. But what I cover, so I do plan on doing coding tutorials, like actual ones where I'm breaking down content and going into hour-long videos and showcasing it. That's on my to-do list. But I right now I want to do it with React first, and I'll do Redux, and then I'll do React Native after I build a project or two. I'd rather do projects, right? I like building things, and so I think the best way to actually learn is to build something. And so that's what my tutorials are going to be. I'm going to draw a lot of inspiration from Traversy Media. I recently talked to him. I said, "Hey, how do you get your project ideas?" And he kind of let me know. And it basically at the end of the day, I kind of have to find my own way of doing it. But I'm going to try to do 1 coding tutorial a week in the near future. Sorry, dude, I hate April. Why do you hate my girlfriend? Have I tried Python? I've had some coursework in the past in Python, and I've also built a game in it using the Pygame library during that course. It's one of the only courses in college I actually enjoyed, to be honest with you, because of the way it was set up. Can a person call himself a developer if he only works with WordPress and Wix? He can call himself a WordPress and Wix developer. When you go back to school, do you have to take Python or Java course? I'm not quite sure what language they're going to be teaching. What do you think about being a web developer in a third world country? I think I have no business answering that question, to be honest with you. I only would say I could probably accurately reflect my views on the United States market. Anything else I'd be talking about would just be out of my butt. What I can say is that I've worked with a lot of developers at my old job that were on visas. I know they hired a lot of people as well through agencies to help them out with certain aspects of the project. But that's about all I can say. I don't want. I hate people who just start talking out of their ass just because they get a question asked. It's okay, guys. Here's the thing. It's okay to say I don't know. I don't know. This is what I do know, but the rest of it, I don't know. How old am I? Hey, girl. How old are you? No. I am 29. I will be 30 in 2 months. So help me. I'm feeling old. 2 months and 3 weeks, just to keep it straight. I'm still in the 20s, baby. Best music to listen to when coding. I listen to a lot of trap. I listen to a lot of anime remixes, a lot of gaming remixes. You're actually an inspiration. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, man. I just try to. I guess now I'm just trying to share my life of code. That's basically it, man. I try to share my perspectives on things. Try to share my experiences, and just trying to get better and provide the best stuff I can. I look 21. All right. Hey man, I got no problem listening to Elton John, but it ain't on the Get Lit Coding Jams playlist. I promise you. You're more likely to see like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap remix, the Kingdom Hearts Simple and Clean. You might see the what else would be on there? The Zelda Sandstorm trap remix. Those are the type of things you see on the playlist. 20 to 21. It's so I do have somewhat of a baby face at times when I'm clean shaven, but also part of it is I have braces right now. So I have the braces will be off in 5 months, and you guys will tell me I look old as shit. So we've been going about an hour now, guys. This is our every 1,000 subscriber live stream. Quick shout out to Ricky and Chris Hawks, who are fellow coding YouTubers. I hope if you aren't already subbed that you go show them some love. We're all in this together, right? We're all doing what we can. We're all trying to put out good vibes into the software world. We're all trying to share our experiences and hope that they do good. And you have guys like Chris, who I watch, and Traversy Media, and Derek Bonas, and the new Boston, and you got John, who started with software. Now he's like self-improvement, right? And so everyone's doing their thing, and there's enough love to go around. With that being said, guys, we do these every 1,000 subscribers. So thank you, Chris, for the subarino. Thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to 25,000 subscriber special, to the 1,000 new. Welcome to the fam. We're family here, right? And to the 23,000 that were here before, definitely make them feel welcome as well. Don't forget to look forward to our Monday, Wednesday, Friday videos, where I talk about whatever I want to talk about. This Friday's video, you're not gonna miss out on this Friday's video. I promise you that much. We'll do this again at 25,000, and we do giveaways now every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I want to give you guys a course because you have given me so much. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for being here. And I like to end my live streams with what I call a final thought. And so I'll leave you with this in regards to today's video. Today, I talked about my life for the last 2.5 years, my life for 3 years. And it was awkward. I'll be honest with you. So it's awkward sharing something that's personal. And I started that video talking about how I was in a mood. I was feeling kind of down, right? Usually I'm a pretty happy, upbeat person for the most part. But every once in a while, we all get in our funks. And so what I did was I started free writing. I started doing what I know that can help me cope with whatever I was going through at the time 2 months ago. And reflecting on how far you have gotten. A lot of us may not be where we want to be, myself included. I'm not where I want to be. But we have to be glad where we're at. And if you can kind of accept the fact that you may not be where you want to be, but you're working hard to get there. And when you get there, you get that bit of success, you get that goal that you work so hard for. You're not going to be where you want to be either, because you know that there's better, and keep doing better and keep working harder. And so there's a quote that I came across, and it was in one of those motivation videos, but it really struck with me. He said, the harder you work, the harder it is to accept failure. So if you guys work hard, you won't take failure as an option. So I hope you guys aren't taking failure as an option. I'm not. I'm trying my hardest. I appreciate you all watching. Welcome to the 1,000 new subscribers. And shout out to all the coding channels, Chris Hawks, Traversy Media, Kristen Leak, who's a good friend of mine. She's doing well. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys at 25,000. Bye.